The chapter begins with an unknown narrator saying you dropped over 1,000 feet, yet you're alive. The next panel shows a child which isn't Frisk but a regular human. This is our protagonist Eliza. It seems you fell on a cushion of leaves and petals and a lot of mud. Even the narrator asks the question, where are you? She's given the option to explore or observe, and she picks the observe option. Darkness surrounds you, making it difficult to see past the circle of poppies. At least they are as alive as you, especially that one. Our protagonist screams on top of her lungs at the sight of a one-eyed flower. He begs the character to be quiet and tries to show that he's harmless. Flower introduces himself and says, "Howdy, looks to me like you're here by mistake. Another human, right? Fell down by accident? That's a surprise. I guess that makes you one of the stupid clumsy type. Not to be mean or anything." Our protagonist detects a hint of childish sarcasm, but she somewhat trusts him. Flowey offers a handshake and she accepts it. Flowey says that she's the only friend she has down here, considering in this world it's eat or be eaten. Flowey says, "Oh geez, you look like the saddest human ever." Okay, I didn't mean to scare you. Here, put me in your pocket. Maybe together we can find a way out of this place. Seeing as neither of us want to be here, what do you think, friend? Aw, you look kinda cute when you smile. Without warning, Flowey bursts into flames. Flowey's scream pierces the air, and then Flowey dies. Flowey got the Ash Baby treatment, holy shit. In the darkness, two hands reach out and grab our protagonist by the neck. She stands there frozen, unable to move. My child. Our protagonist opens her eyes and we see it's Toriel. And for some reason her eyes are green. I don't know why, she's probably wearing green eye contact lenses. I don't fucking know. Toriel says, "What a terrible creature, torturing such a poor innocent youth." "It's alright dear, you're safe now. Oh, please don't cry." Yeah mate, I'm pretty sure she's crying at the fact that the flower tortured her. Ah, golly. The kindly monster does not seem to realize what she has done. Toriel says, "Ah, now that is better. Follow me. I shall take you home and make you a meal." The chapter ends. The chapter begins with Toriel making some cinnamon butterscotch pie. She says that she can't send her back on an empty stomach. Toriel tells the girl that she looks adorable and her parents are very lucky to have such a dear little thing. Okay, be honest, tell me she doesn't give you Frambo energy. Toriel says, "I'm happy to have found that bow. It was a gift from another child who recently passed by." Referring to Frisk, unfortunately, she wasn't very well behaved. A little pushy. I'm sure you would understand, but I believe that humans can change over time. Do you agree? Our character picks yes. Toriel is pleased when the character agrees with her, and she says, "Ah, now you're a well-behaved little girl. What a relief. I've cared for many young children here. Of course I sent them home once they're ready. It's dangerous." Her friendly chatter, paired with her tasty butterscotch pie, fills our character's heart with joy. Toriel says to the kid that it will be difficult to let her go though. Met with an awkward laugh, our character then throws up the butterscotch pie. Yeah. Our protagonist gets really sick after eating the butterscotch pie. Fucking hell, mate. Toriel says, "Oh dear, I cannot let you go back home. You will rest here until you have recovered your strength. Stay put, child. I'll get you some medicine in the garden." As Toriel leaves the room, our character reaches under the bed to open up a box that she secretly carried behind Toriel's back. The box contains the remains of Flowey. She's basically trying to bring him back to life. Eliza, in the clear, she quickly tries to pull this hook that's in between the tiles. As she does that, she finds a blue glass veil. She thinks that this could be the cure and could bring back Flowey. She quickly skedaddles back in her room and puts the liquid in the soil. Nothing happens, and then Flowey comes back to life. After Flowey gets resurrected by Alyssa giving him some mini shields, why she looks so pale? Alyssa explains that the butterscotch pie gave her a upset stomach. Just like when you eat Arby's, you get an upset stomach. Flowey says to her, that can't be right. Once the food converts straight into energy when humans eat it, it shouldn't react with your organs like that. Unless, Alyssa, you have to leave. Other kids have been down here. I haven't seen them since. And that healing water. She's hiding something. I don't think you'll die here. I think something a lot worse is waiting to happen. Toriel slams open the door, and our protagonist is given an option. Whom do you trust? Flowey or Toriel? The chapter ends, and Toriel trying to throw a fucking fireball at Flowey again. I don't know what she has against him, but oh my goodness. Eliza saves Flowey, and Toriel screams at her saying, unhand that thing at once. Eliza, thinking she's him, she pulls a Rohan Kishibe. The flame that Toriel shot left a hole in the wall, and Eliza throws down Flowey, and she gets grabbed by Toriel. Toriel says, I had hoped you would be well behaved. Now I must do what's best for you. She stabs the needle in Eliza's neck and everything goes black. Next chapter begins with Flowey looking up at the window and he realizes that the girl's dead. Flowey says, shame, though she stood a chance. He hears a loud thud and he realizes that it's Toriel heading somewhere. Flowey asks Toriel, where are you going, you witch? And he just pops and rustles and follows her around and she's just skedaddling. Flowey realizes that Toriel is speaking to someone at the gate. And Flowey says, oh no, not him. Eliza is in her room and she's clearly drugged. Flowey calls out her name and tells her to come to the ball. I don't know why Flowey says, come here and play with me. That's some ditty shit, but okay. Eliza asks, Flowey, is that you? And Flowey replies with, yes, Eliza, it's me. Your best friend, Flowey the Flower. And we find out that it's not really Flowey, it's a fucking... I don't even know what that is, bro, honestly. This looks like Mike Mazowski's cousin, bro. What is that? We actually find out that that is Flowey, and it's just her vision is really messed up. Flowey tells her, oh my god, you're alive. Come on, help me up. We're losing time. Flowey says, whoa, what's wrong with you? Are you brain dead? I'm telling you to jump, Alyssa, jump off the wall and let's play together. Replies to Flowey saying, oh, I don't know. As Flowey climbs up, he says, okay, never mind, I got it. No thanks to you. Flowey realizes that she was drugged and he says, oh, I didn't know she... Sorry, just follow me, okay? Hang in there and follow me. Eliza asks Flowey, but Flowey, where are you going? And then the drug hallucination of Flowey just speaks, saying, on an adventure, of course, and this adventure is called Let's Kill Goat Mom. Yeah. As Flowey heads out the door, he says, come this way, just watch your step. As soon as Eliza and Flowey step out the room, everything looks completely different. People are holding flashlights as the torches. Screams and begging is heard from the previous people that were here. They hear the previous children say, she told me it wasn't safe to go outside. My inhaler. Where did she put my inhaler? When I said I had to go home, the food tasted different. These are all the voices of the previous children that unfortunately didn't make it out alive. We see the previous child's shoes and it says, I tried to run away. Please tell my mother where I am. Flowey and Alyssa stumble upon a girl that's just sitting on the table. Flowey asks, who is that, do you think? Looks like if you don't escape, you're gonna end up in here for a very long time. Remember that girl that Toriel said that was being a bit naive and she found that green ribbon? Yeah, that's the girl. Eliza is shocked at the fact that there's a corpse just sitting there. Flowey and Eliza hear Toriel say, child, is that you? Where's my little one? Eliza, completely terrified, doesn't know what to do. Flowey quickly says to hide on the desk and they both do it. As both hid under the table, Toriel calls out and says, I know you're there, Alyssa. I'm not playing games, do you understand? You will respond when I call you. Flowey and Alyssa notice something on the ground. Toriel calls out, my child, where did you go? Flowey says to Alyssa, wow, an adventure, hide and seek and a treasure hunt. Someone needs to pinch me. Alyssa looks at the thing that was on the ground and it's a drink. Saying, drink me. She says yes, and as soon as she takes a sip, Toriel grabs her by the neck and drags her out the table. Flowey in distraught shouts saying, no, Alyssa. The next panel is Toriel scolding her. Now look at me in the eye when I speak to you. Alyssa in distraught and in confusion says, Mommy? The next panel is a disfigured version of Toriel mixed with her actual mother. Toriel says, do you not know how long I have been searching for you? The drugs have altered her vision so hard that she even believes that Toriel is her actual mother. Toriel says to Eliza, oh there, dear, mother's here. The hardships you must have faced, now we are safe together, forever. Flowey, looking distraught, says, no, so close. Until Flowey has an idea. He says, you owe me for this one, human. A bunch of pebbles appear and Toriel shouts saying, what? Flowey says, hey, didn't anybody tell you? Down here, it's eat or be eaten. Toriel then says, no. What is that, man? Toriel from Britain shoots fire at Flowey. Eliza is shocked, and Flowey barely survives the attack, saying, I got the treasure. Eliza quickly drinks the blue liquid, and she turns back to normal. Eliza looks at Toriel, and she wonders, what is happening? Flowey whispers to Alyssa saying, Psst, welcome back. Come on, let's get out of here. And mid-sentence, she grabs Flowey and hugs him tightly. Flowey says, okay, take it easy. Let's go before she notices. Flowey jumps in fear as she realizes that they've been caught. Toriel screams, hey, and Flowey says it's time to go. Eliza makes a run for it. Eliza has recovered from the poison, and yet, she can still see them. The ghosts of the previous children showing her the way. Toriel screams, Eliza, you misbehaved little monster. Flowey shows her the exit, and as she runs down, there it is, the way out. Flowey tells her to go and don't stop running, and that Toriel is right behind the corner. Her deformed shadow screams, now Sans, do it now. Eliza asks, who the hell is Sans? But as she steps outside, she thought she was free, but she accidentally steps on a sharp bone. She realizes that she's screwed, and she gets impaled by Sans. She dies in this panel, but I don't know how she's alive. So let's just say she reset, okay? Just go with it. The panel starts with Toriel crying, tears rolling down her eyes. She says, what are you doing? Eliza stops and opens up her arms. Toriel falls on top of her, saving her from the bone attack. Toriel spared her, and she begs her not to leave. There's so many children have left her. She feels the tears dropping on her face, and Flowey just stands there. As Eliza is walking, it seems that her journey is everlasting. The first panel of the second chapter greets us with a familiar face, Sans. Sans is surprised at the sight of the human being alive. The fact that Toriel and Sans were talking about killing the human if she escaped, but he's just shocked. Sans wraps his arms around Eliza and says, quickly get behind that conveniently shaped corpse. Eliza is shocked and confused. I mean, who is this random skeleton? And what does he want from her? Sans pushes Eliza and says, oh, come on, don't be a deadbeat. The corpse smells horrid. Look how uncomfortable she is, bro. God damn. Papyrus shows up, and Sans and him have a dialogue. Sup, bro? You know what's up, brother? It's been 8 years, and you still haven't... Sans quickly cuts him off and says, there's a human hiding behind that dead body. Yeah, okay, that's fucking crazy, bro. Papyrus in disbelief says, wait, really? Sans says, yeah, you should go check it out. Eliza, very uncomfortable with this whole thing, just stands there, defenseless and vulnerable. And the next panel, we see a close-up of Papyrus and, whoa, what the fuck is that, man? What happened to his teeth? Why is everyone British in this comic? I don't get it. Alright, let's continue. Papyrus very happy with this. He says, Sans, look, I finally did it. I caught the final human. I told you one would take the bait. Sans, not having the energy, just says, yup. Papyrus gets curious. He says, I'm surprised the trap works so fast. No human has ever been this easy to snag. Sans clearly doesn't have the energy and says, yup, pretty stupid. Papyrus being alerted, he says, how unusual for you to be such an easy target. Unless, of course, kind of human. He drops Eliza on the ground and she just doesn't get up. She's feigning weakness and oh my god, pretending to be limp and useless. It's just the start of a devious plan to outsmart me. Sans, being sarcastic as always, says, whoa, Pope, sweet deduction skills. It might be wiser to skip the puzzles and take us straight to number 5. Papyrus rejects and says, too risky. We'll have to prepare as usual. Papyrus shouts to Sans and says, do you hear me, brother? Sans replies with, God, yes. Could you ease on the screaming a bit? I'm like 2 feet away from you. And mid-sentence, Papyrus just shouts at him again, saying, manage your stations. Before Papyrus skedaddles away, he says, hurry, Sans, we must prepare before she regains stamina. Sans says, fine. And as Papyrus left, Sans tells Eliza, nice job giving me more work, human. And then he just leaves. Eliza is confused and she wonders, why is she getting the blame? The next panel is Sans and Papyrus just chilling at the opposite side of the puzzle. This is the same puzzle that we see in the beginning of the game, where Papyrus gets shocked because he's the one holding the orb like a fucking idiot. Papyrus says, and so it begins, human. I challenge you to cross this path using the magic orb I gave you. We will see how clever you truly are. Isn't that right, Sans? Sans is just sleeping, not paying attention. Of course, each puzzle comes with a special rule, and that rule is... his brain fucking freezes. Papyrus turns to Sans and he asks the question, what was the rule again, brother? Sans wakes up and he tells us that we have 5 puzzles, 3 freebies. If you're stumped, just flash the number of freebies you got left. Me or my bro will help you out. Papyrus shouts, 3? That seems too much. We have to just an account of no one reaching the final puzzle. Papyrus says, and where am I supposed to find 3 frisbees, Sans? I swear, you just enjoy giving me work. No, Pops, you make me say this every time. Freebies clues. Alyssa just stands there listening to those two argue. What use will glue do? No, clues, Pops. No clues? But I thought we agreed that it would be suitable to provide 3 clues for the human. Pops, please don't do this. Otherwise, she might end up dead before my grand finale. You made this stupid rule, so if it's confusing, then scrap it and kill her. But then how do we pass the time? I said 3 clues! 3! No more complaining! Okay. But how many frisbees? Forget about the goddamn frisbees. Yeah, Sans is canonically Italian. What about it? Papyrus gets tired of arguing with Sans, and he tells Eliza to just go forward and try to solve the puzzle. The orb shall protect her. Eliza holds tightly to the orb, and as she takes her first step forward, she fucking dies.
Do you have any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
As goofy and silly this is, it kind of shows you how monsters have changed. Papyrus on his first attempt with Frisk knew that he messed up by leaving a trail behind, so he learned from that. But it refused. Everything repeats itself, and Papyrus is talking about how Eliza has to solve the puzzle to move forward and progress. Sans is laughing because he knows that the bear trap is going to go off if she steps on it. Papyrus asks the question, something amuses you, brother? You must tell me. Sans says, I don't know, suddenly I'm in a pretty good mood. And then Papyrus goes on to repeat the thing he did last time about the rules. He asks again to Sans, what were the rules again? And Sans says 5 puzzles. But Eliza throws the ball to the bear trap, and the bear trap goes off. When Sans was talking to Papyrus, he notices that the bear trap went off and she didn't die. Sans is really confused. He says, wait a minute. How did she know? She has got the same fucking powers as Frisk. Holy crap. Papyrus, being the cheerful little guy he is, he says, Wowie, on the first try you solved the puzzle. Finally, a human worthy to be my prisoner. Oh my goodness, so gracious. The human has only 4 puzzles left and still 3 whole frisbees. Wait, what? There's no time to lose. To the next puzzle, Sans. Whatever you say, Pops. This was low-key Sans' reaction, bro. Like, how the fuck did the human know? Eliza drags her feet through the cold snow, and she wonders, her friends, her family, where are they? Don't they know that she's down there? Don't they care? She cries, wondering about this. What a terrible place to be alone, forced to attempt deadly puzzles. Is someone crying? Eliza hears someone else crying, and it's just a pile of snow. She rejects the idea of snow could cry, and she just turns around and leaves. The snow begs, no, please stay. And yet, Eliza's heart tells her to rebuild the snowman. As she rebuilds the snowman says thank you, tears rolling down his eyes. Eliza says, there you go, Mr. Snowman, you don't need to cry anymore. The snowman thanks her again, saying, bless you, little girl. To think a human would be so kind after what I've been through. Eliza also cries along with him and says, you're welcome. The snowman says, take my nose and a piece of my snow. And the snow no longer edible due to the toxic environment, but I hope in some way they'll prove to be useful.